Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so in today's video I'm going to try my best to explain this month's side event the best I can, suggest some of the best options, and in general try to answer the most frequently asked questions that I have seen in my comment section or on my live streams. Number one, okay, so I got carried away. Number one, what you need to know is that there are 6 difficulty levels. All the objectives are actually tiered basically for difficulty levels 1 to 5. And if you are planning on doing Sector 6 Zone 25 push, completely ignore the objectives. There is no point, there is no need, there is no reward or a reason for you to try and make a Zone 25 run harder for you than it already is. By limiting the champions that you are trying to use or trying to double score on objectives, because you can fulfill all of those objective requirements playing Sector 5 as well. The highest level difficulty objective involves Sector 5 or 6, so if you choose to do Sector 6, just forget about objectives. That's the most important thing. Just use your Hercules, your Thing, your Aegon, your Magneto, whatever you use, but just don't think about trying to kind of like double dip on objectives, because typically, when you do Zone 25 run, you're still going to end up using some items, but if you're limiting yourself on some champions, you're probably going to end up getting stuck or use much more items, so that's extremely unwise thing to do. Another important thing to do is to remember that Sector 6 does not reset the entire month. Everything else does. So Sectors 1 to 5, as we can see by the timer, will reset every single week, giving you new top zone bonuses, giving you new everything, except Sector 6. So, doing Sector 6, there's no rush. You have an entire month to do it. For the rest of that, you are better off doing it once a week, because then you will not be missing out on any of the top zone bonus rewards, and also obviously grabbing all the milestone rewards. That is important, because these rewards, if they go away, you can't just catch up at end of the month and do 4 runs and think that you're going to get the same amount of rewards. Once this week ends, new one starts, and if you didn't get some rewards there, if you didn't get some currency for side event store, you lose it. Additionally to that, if you are planning to do Sector 6 run, then you're probably best off doing that towards the end, because you can use this in-game currency to buy a fairly substantial amount of free revives and free health potions, well, in the side event store. And that would be the best strategy, so do not rush to do the Zone 25 push immediately. Now that we got that taken care of, let's take a look at the objectives and how best to tackle them. Because there's actually quite huge disparity in between them, and I'll try my best to kind of organize everything here fine. So you can see that these first outclassed objectives ask you to do fights with specific class champions. What is important to know, that you can do these objectives just by doing the first room or first 2 rooms and then just basically quitting, or however. You do not need to do a full run in order to get these rewards. And that is why we're looking here, because you only need to do 4 fights with a specific class champion in order to fulfill these objectives. However, for the rest of them, for the #blessed objectives, you need to do 54 fights. 54 fights, if you are playing solo, would account for, like, what? If you do 3 fights per room, then 30 rooms, 18 rooms, something like that. It's quite a lot. So, it is best to focus on these objectives first, in my opinion, and then just, grab these ones as and when you are doing something else. Focusing on these #blessed objectives, all of them have the same tags initially for the first part, and then they switch up for the second part. So let's take a look at those tags and select some of the best champions. Best champions for #blessed objectives, starting with this defensive utility ones. I would say Captain America Infinity War is quite good here, especially if you have some nice accompanying classes with him because of his block proficiency. Then we have Galen. Obviously, Joe Fixit can work magnificent in Battlegrounds. Mr. Fantastic is underrated in Battlegrounds due to his tankiness, in my personal opinion. Obviously, Nick Fury does quite well also. And then, obviously, you're kind of free to choose. My personal picks would still go towards perhaps a Horseman Wolverine. He's an absolute animal, especially if you give him an Odin pre-fight. And Ultron with his regen. But again, what is important to know that you can have champions from different tags, different classes on your team. So when you are building your team, it is important to bring in like 1 or 2 of these champions, but you can still have, let's say, Hercules on your team for when you get stuck or when you are in trouble. You do not need to make a team of just champions with that tag, or you do not need to have like a champion with one of the required tags each. As long as you have at least one champion that's tagged as listed in objective, when you do fights with it, you will be earning points. Now moving on to the offensive damage over time, we have I-Bomb, solid. Then we have APOC and Archangel, great champions. Dr. Doom, amazing for this stuff. And then carrying on, Jubilee is actually very good in incursions due to have access to debuffs and tons of provinces. And then we also have Omega Sentinel, as we mentioned before, Nick Fury. Magneto is great. We still have Tiger if you do well with Tigra, and also a bunch of others. These are the champions of, well, all of them qualify. And now the last tag in the first objective is Control Denial. And for Control Denial champions, the best ones you're going to find here is Claire. Really good, because she basically gets infinite healing with some more damage hacks in incursion. She does crazy good amount of work. OG Scarlet Witch can be insanely useful and valuable as well in incursion, especially if you get some crit hacks. And then we have the new Iron Man. Infamous Iron Man, I suspect, will do great with access perhaps to a shock hack. And then on top of it, you also obviously get the regen from the guy. He's quite tanky. He should work quite well there as well. And you can see the rest of the champions that qualify. So this is for first 54 fights. Once you complete the first objective, in the next week, you're going to be doing the second run probably. And then you're going to need different tanks. Then you're going to need defensive tank, offensive burst, and control counter. So let's start with the defensive tanks. We have I-Bomb, Absorbing Man, APOC, New Hulk, I suspect it's going to be great. Hyperion, Hulkling, Hulkbuster is great for incursions. Infamous Iron Man, Juggernaut, I don't think I have tried him in incursions to be honest, but he should be quite good. And obviously we have Titania, Venom. Thing is kind of like undisputed incursions GOAT if you do a push. Overseer, obviously, Rintra can do just fine. And the final next one, I mean, we have, who would I use here? Still the Black Widow, CGR, Domino. We have Medusa. It's quite decent for incursions. Access to buffs, debuffs, poison immunity. Not too bad. Auto block for safety. And we have Longshot, Kitty Pryde. Definitely solid option there. Scorpion. Great pick for incursions run as well. And here we have, I think OG Torm. In the early rooms, he definitely could destroy. And potentially Storm, especially if you make her a horse, woman. And now the final one. The final tag is Control Counter, where Diablo is really good. And we have Ghost. And then we also have Howard the Duck and Null. Both very, very good for incursions. Symbiote Supreme, sure, why not? Hood, Venom Pool. All very, very solid options. But yeah, first you need to get done with the first set of objectives. And again, then afterwards you can switch about. Again, these do reset weekly. So my recommendation in general is just do a run in the whatever zones are appropriate to your level every week, at least in like 2 zones, let's say 4 and 5. And then, you know, once you farm some revives from the store, which are very cheap and affordable, and actually I bought most of them myself as well, because you can use them after this event is over for your incursion pushes. So every week, some of these things will reset, as we're going to see. I believe, oh no, never mind, not every, yeah, limit resets here weekly. So I basically got pretty much everything here. And you can just stack them up, save them up, and then you can do your Zone 25 push for free. Aside from that, obviously, just go and pick whatever is, you know, the best value for you in the store itself, whatever you are more interested. But let's do a quick recap. So Zone 25 push once a month. That legend title will not disappear. You can do it at the end of the month. You will still earn that legend title. It is like a regular legend title, I believe. There is no difference with the previous or older legend titles in the game. Do your other zone runs once a week. When you do zone 6 run, do not worry about the objectives. Worry about the objectives when you do your lower zone runs. And again, primarily pay attention to the hashtag blessed one. And the other one, again, it really doesn't take that many fights, so you can just kind of go and grab it. And even if you don't grab it, there is not that much stuff in these ones, to be honest. All the good stuff pretty much lies, well, I suppose in this one there is something. All the better stuff lies in the hashtag blessed ones. But yeah, this one just requires you to have like specific class champions, which is going to be quite easy to achieve as and when you are fighting anyways. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't pay too much attention to that. I just make sure that the champions that I'm using have the right tags on. Okay. Is there anything else? No, just go and play incursions. Use specific tag champions. You do not need to do a zone 12 push. That is also very important. You can just replay the first room, or you can replay the first 3 rooms, especially if you do not have a big roster or an appropriate champion. You can just enter the incursion run, do the first 3 rooms, quit out, go back in there. The limit, there should be a 5-minute cooldown only. So go back in with the same team after 5 minutes, play the 3 rooms again, and you will still be able to get that awakening gem without problem, without ever stepping your foot in the zone 6 or without ever stepping your foot in like a higher set of rooms. You do not have to do that. You can just farm and milk and repeat the first initial rooms as well. Right. All that being said, let me know if you guys have any more questions. I will answer the questions if I didn't go over that in the video. If there's something that I missed out, I will drop an answer. If you're gonna ask something that I did explain in the video, then I'm just gonna leave a thumbs down on the comment. Ha! Anyways, let me know if there's anything else you want to know about this side event, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the